Hey, I'm Famin, and I'm going to talk about video games for a couple of minutes. So, the PlayStation 5 reveal happened. We know what the PS5 looks like. We don't know the price, we don't know the release date, but we know what it looks like, and that's really important for some reason. I mean, to be totally honest with you, I could not care less what the PS5 actually looks like. I mean, obviously I want it to look good, I want it to look nice on my shelf, but in all honesty, it's really about the games, and that's sort of what this event was primarily about. I like the suspense throughout the event. A lot of people have been noting that, and I definitely have to sort of tip my hat off to Sony there, because they definitely built a lot of suspense. These sort of interstitials that happen between each of the game reveals, these shapes that are moving, everything's coming together and supposedly leading up to something, but nothing, but something. It is fun in a way. It kind of felt like a little bit of a roller coaster. Speaking of roller coasters and things feeling like that, the sort of way the show started with Grand Theft Auto 5 really threw me off. I watched a lot of reactions to this event, and when Rockstar popped up on the screen, a lot of people were like, oh my god, GTA 6! Oh my god, Bullied 2! Oh my god, Red Dead DLC or something? I was fully in the camp of, oh my god, they're showing off GTA 5? I was not expecting anything from Rockstar during this show, but if Rockstar were to be at the show, it was pretty much a lock that it was going to be Grand Theft Auto 5. Immediately, as soon as I saw Rockstar, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5. Weird way to start off the show, huh? I mean, like, really weird to start the show off with that. There's some, like, weirdness going on. They show PS4 gameplay. They announced that it's going to be enhanced on PS5, coming in 2021. I would think that they would want to push that as a launch title, but I guess not. Or I guess it just couldn't make the time. Cool. I mean, it's expected, right? I mean, we all knew that Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to find its way on next-gen consoles, the same way the next Call of Duty is going to be on PS4 and PS5, the same way Valhalla, Assassin's Creed, that's going to be popping on both generations. There's tons of games, 2K, like, there's tons of games that are going to be on both generations, and Grand Theft Auto is one of the most popular games of all time next to Fortnite, and you better be damn sure that Fortnite's popping on PS5 as well. I'm surprised that actually wasn't here. Just a weird, awkward way to start the show, though. I gotta admit, that was probably my least favorite part of the entire show, because we never got back to that point. There was never a talk about backwards compatibility and things of that such. I'm sure that that's going to be like a state of play or another event later on in the summer, or maybe even closer to launch, where they talk about backwards compatibility, where they talk about games coming to PS4 too, or games for PS4 coming to PS5. Like, I feel like that is a separate event. You know, I don't think it's something to hype up, but they hyped up GTA 5, so yay. There were a ton of really, really cool games that were shown at this press conference, and I think the main word I want to use is diversity. Goodness gracious, there's tons of... That's kind of my main worry, actually, going into this event, is like, oh, they're just going to show off a slew of a bunch of dark rated M games. Here's Resident Evil 8, here's your Demon Souls, and things like that. And yes, I'm extremely hyped about it. Probably the two hypest announcements at the entire show, but it's really cool to see some color. It is really, really cool to see Ratchet and Clank return and basically just be this incredible showpiece to show off what the PS5 is capable of. Jumping between dimension to dimension is awesome. It fits thematically within the confines of Ratchet and Clank, within the confines of that universe. It works. It feels like this is the next step in the progression of that series. But it also just looks really damn pretty. My goodness, I was actually blown away. It was probably the only game during this entire show that honestly blew me away. I think Horizon Dark West, or whatever it's called, like, yeah, that game looks insanely pretty, but like, there's a lot of sort of discrepancies there. Like, is this gameplay? Are these just cinematics? I know it's an engine, but what's going on here? Are these just cutscenes? There's a lot of sort of fishiness around that. I need to see some clear-cut gameplay. And Ratchet and Clank is one of the only games that we got clear-cut gameplay next to, like, Deathloop. Ratchet and Clank looks incredible. I am blown away. And it's so crazy because I'm not the hugest fan of the Ratchet and Clank series. I grew up playing it. I enjoyed it. But I was always into Jack, and I was always I kind of grew past it, I guess. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking this game up. I honestly hope that somehow they get this at launch. This is the perfect game I think that you should launch the PS5 with, because of how it showcases that power, how it showcases what you can do with an SSD, what you can do with no load times. This is a game that's being designed around sort of the idea of no load times. It's not just like, hey, remember when you walk into that door and there's a little quick loading screen? That's gone now. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, but I want to see how that's going to be implemented in game design. Not necessarily, oh, we're entering a building and, you know, it's not going to load, but we're jumping between dimensions. Things are being designed around the fact that there's no load times, and that's really, really what I wanted to see, and it's something that I actually wasn't expecting. I feel like that was something that I thought we had to wait to see. I thought that was like, oh, maybe in a couple of years, developers will start learning how to take advantage of that SSD and really start designing games around it, instead of just like, hey, Grand Theft Auto 5, it doesn't load as much, or at all, for that matter. And that's awesome. Again, that's great, and that's a big deal. But Ratchet and Clank, dude, what the hell? That game looks ridiculous. Spider-Man was awesome. It's cool seeing Spider-Man. It's not a sequel at this point. At the time, I was like, oh my god, Spider-Man 2 already? That's crazy. I was expecting this way down the line. That's coming out this holiday. That's a big deal. But it is sort of like an add-on, sort of additional content. I think a lot of people are throwing around Lost Legacy, how it's sort of this big expansion. But there's still a lot of language that's not exactly clear in regards to how the game is going to be launched. Is it a re-release of the original Spider-Man that was on PS4 with this attached? Is it just this standalone? I don't really know. I really don't. But that trailer was really, really cool. Seeing Spider-Man swinging around in snow. We have not seen that on film. I haven't seen it too much in comic books either. So it's really cool to see it in a video game. It looks awesome. There's one shot in particular where we see, it's like a quick 2-second shot where we see Miles in this big, you know, coat walking on the sidewalk. There's like vapor everywhere. That is some just ridiculously good cinematography. I think in that trailer, there was just incredible cinematography. Even that first shot of him, like, I don't even know, doing a Kamehameha. I don't really know what's going on there, but that's super, super cool. His mask just like tearing off his face to reveal that, oh, Miles, you're playing as Miles in this. That's a big deal. I'm really excited about this, surprisingly, because of the story. I was sort of blown away with what they did with the Spider-Man PS4 story, especially towards the end of the game. Like the last third of that game was a ride for sure. And I'm curious if this is just going to take place right after that, or are we jumping in time? It looks like Miles might be a little older. Looks like he might have grown a couple of inches. I don't know, but I'm really excited. I'm excited to see the continuation of this universe's Spider-Man, I guess I should say. There's multiple now. I'm curious if Yuri Lowenthal Spider-Man's going to be jumping in here as well. What does he have to say about Miles Morales becoming Spider-Man? Also, like, is this going to lead into Spider-Man 2? I don't quite know, but I'm still super, super excited about it. I gotta get my hats off to Deathloop. Deathloop looked ridiculously good. That's coming out this year, by the way. I missed that during the presentation. That's coming out this year, or at least hopefully coming out this year. That's a really big deal. That's a launch title for PS5. That is a big deal, because that game looked incredible. One of my favorite gameplay instances of the entire presentation. It just looks like Arcane Leon just doing what Arcane Leon does so well. Super emergent gameplay, really cool looking visuals, awesome powers, like, awesome. Really, really cool trailer, really awesome style. I love this main character. I love sort of the premise. The premise is super cool as well, getting like weird Looper vibes. A lot of jumping between time. I think that's happened like 3 or 4 times during this presentation in regards to different video games, but Deathloop looks sick. A lot cooler than I thought it was going to look. Ghostwire Tokyo? Thematically, awesome. Like, thematically, yeah, I want to explore Tokyo and slay demons. Like, that sounds awesome. Let me take that out. And I love the trailer where we see Keishan jumping off this building, diving down, and there's this one shot where a guy's driving a motorcycle and he like grabs a spirit and swings him around and he hops on the bike. Like, what the hell? That's cool. But the combat looked a little stilted. A lot of real quick shots, in a lot of these gameplay, or trailers, I should say. And that's kind of annoying, especially when you're watching a stream and it's just like compression everywhere. That kind of happened during the RE8 trailer as well. But that Tokyo game, it looks really, really cool, but I'm not really sure what we're doing. A lot more combat than I expected too. That game is full on action, and I wasn't expecting that. This is from Tango. I was expecting something along the lines of Evil Within, where it is a slower paced, darker sort of Resident Evil clone. I was, expecting them to step outside the box, but this is very much outside the box. The box has left the station. We're somewhere else now, and I think this is a good idea. I think this could work with Tango, and I'm excited. The spells, the ninjutsu that we were doing, cool. It's not a lot of games where we're doing ninjutsu, not enough, so bring it. Let's talk about the big ones. Resident Evil 8, I briefly mentioned. Yes, I love Resident Evil as a franchise, especially recently. I think RE2 and RE3 and RE7 were all fantastic games, and I'm very much looking forward to Resident Evil 8. I really don't have much to say about it. There's werewolves now. It's darker. Chris is like fat and brooding now. I don't really know what's going on there. I don't really care, to be honest with you. A lot of people are like super upset about the depiction of Chris in this. I just don't care. I mean, it feels like this entire franchise is like me as an 8-year-old playing with action figures. Like, that's honestly what it feels like, and that's a good thing. I think this trailer was awesome. There was a lot of really, really cool environments that I haven't really seen in games, or at least not enough of in games. Seeing the mansion, this like mansion with the chandelier. There's actually another little developer diary that released shortly after the presentation where we do get a little bit of gameplay in some of those hallways, and my god, just like the reflection off of the wood, the chandelier, the lighting, it looks unreal. There's a couple screenshots where we're carrying a knife or we're looking down at a sink or something, and I'm not even joking, it looks photoreal. And that's just the RE engine, that's just what Capcom does. But seeing that on PS5 exclusive to next gen, this is not a cross-generation title, awesome. You know, that's exactly what I wanted to see, and I'm all for it for Resident Evil. Demon Souls looks sick. I'm gonna be honest with you, full disclosure, I've never played Demon Souls. I've never played the first one. I played a little bit of Bloodborne. I'm not a huge Soulsborne fan. I'm not like a huge Demon Souls fan or anything like that. But this trailer got me hyped. I'm not gonna lie to you. This trailer definitely got me excited for just, I want to play a Souls game. I saw some Mortal Shell gameplay recently as well at like the IGN thing. That looked kind of sick. I'm just like in a Bloodborne Soulsy mood right now, and I'm really looking forward to this game. Blue Point, what the hell? How are you so good at this? It looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. Again, I don't have that sort of pre-exposure to the original. I don't really have like, oh man, they remade this and remade that. I mean, I watched some reactions that a lot of people were pointing things out, and I'm not necessarily appreciating it on that front. I'm just appreciating on the front of it looking so ridiculously damn good. I really love what Blue Point is doing. I think this is going to be one of the biggest studios in the business in the next 5 to 10 years. Absolutely. When they start making their own games, when they stop remaking people's work and they start making their own stuff, that's when I get real excited. And I think they're going in that direction. This definitely looks like I've seen some comparisons for sure. This is like basically a brand new game, and that's really, really cool. So I'm down. Again, Horizon, flashy, but not a lot to grab onto. I'll also be honest, I didn't play the first Horizon game. It's one of the only like big PS4 exclusives that I actually didn't play. I don't know. Something's not grabbing me about that universe. I don't know. I love the character. I love Aloy. I love like the art style, but I don't know. It's just like a little too Ubisofty. It's a little Ubisoft in terms of like how we're exploring and how we're traversing, but it definitely looks really good. I love what Guerrilla's doing. That engine looks ridiculous. The Decima engine, unreal. Those graphics, again, I don't know if those are, you know, gameplay segments. I don't know. There's one shot where we see her like riding on one of the machine horses or whatever, and there's like a big sort of like the skybox moment where, you know, everything's revealed to be down below you. Really, really cool shot, but again, like, I don't know. There's a shot where it's like straight out of Breath of the Wild where we're climbing up this cliff. That looks really cool as well. Lots of really great shots. It's a good trailer. It's a good trailer. I don't really know what else to say about it in terms of like gameplay, in terms of like what this game's going to be, except that it's probably going to be far away. I'm expecting this to come out like fall 2021, to be real with you. I think that a lot of people were thinking this was going to be a launch title. I'm not thinking so. I think they're going to focus in on Spider-Man. I think that Spider-Man's sort of their big game, and that's cool. That's a good thing. So aside from all of the huge big hitters, there was a lot of really cool looking, I guess, indie titles. Kena by Ember Lab. Looks like the Zelda I didn't realize I wanted. It's from the people that did like a big awesome fan film for Majora's Mask. I've watched that before. That's awesome. And I'm seeing that sort of art style, seeing that sort of inspiration coming into this title. It looks awesome. When they showed the town, when they showed like her jumping around the environments and everything, I was kind of blown away. I'm not gonna lie, that definitely looks really, really cool. There was Astro's Playroom. So this is something I'm gonna be honest with you about. I've been wanting an Ape Escape sequel, another Ape Escape game for the last decade, longer than that. Ape Escape is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I've just been waiting and dying, and if you've watched my previous prediction videos, if you've watched my reaction to this event, I was just hoping and praying throughout the entire thing that we would see Ape Escape. There's a couple of games that kind of scratch that itch, like Kena, maybe even a little bit of that Little Big Planet game. No, not at all, actually. But there's one game that I believe it's probably from the same creators of Ape Escape, or at least some of that staff is working on this game, and that's Astro's Playroom. My goodness. We see it for like maybe 25 seconds, probably less than that, but it looks like some ridiculously good 3D platforming. It looks like some ridiculously well-designed spaces to explore and jump around in, and the way the controls feel, like it looks super fluid, it looks super colorful. It looked like one of the best looking games I've seen on the PS5 yet. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and they show it for like 3 seconds, and apparently it's a package in. You get that game for free on PS5 when you buy it. It's like linked to your controller. That's what the game is all about. The little bot pops out of your DualSense, and that's awesome. I think that's a really good idea. They kind of did something similar with PS4 with like the Playroom thing, which was basically just like a silly app where you can like move things around your... I don't even know, dude. I really don't. But my goodness, Astro's Playroom or whatever is going to be super, super cool. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that could be something substantial, which I don't think a lot of people are giving it credit for. It's Japan Studio. They did Ape Escape. I'm seeing some Ape Escapisms in that title, so I definitely am a little more excited about that than most, but I think there's something there. Hopefully it's not just like a super quick, like here's a 30-minute little game where you can see how cool the haptic triggers are, and I want it to be like a full game, you know. I want that. I just want Ape Escape. God, please, can we get that? Please. Little Devil Inside was another game that was shockingly cool looking. Really cool trailer. Really cool design. Don't really have much else to add. I don't really know what that game's about. So yeah, that's cool. All in all, the entire event, again, was all about diversity. Lots of colorful games. Lots of really cool looking colorful games. Bug Snacks. How can we forget about Bug Snacks? That looks incredible. My goodness, there was a lot of that kind of stuff going forward to this event, and a lot of people I've noticed are kind of comparing this to the Inside Xbox event, like, oh, they kind of did the same thing. They absolutely did not. They absolutely did not do the same thing. For starters, they showed a lot of really big first-party games like Spider-Man, like Horizon, like Ratchet, but they also showed a lot of, I would say, more interesting indie titles. I know it's kind of mean, I guess, but the way the trailers were designed and how much we saw of the games was just way more substantial than the Inside Xbox event. I gotta be real with you. I'm looking forward to PS5 more than Xbox. Because of sort of how they're propping themselves up. Because of sort of how they're showing off their console. They're saying that, hey, you can't get some of these experiences anywhere else. You can't jump between dimensions on your Xbox with Ratchet and Clank, can you? Or on PC or whatever. That's a game that's going to be exclusive to the PS5, and that's fun. That's a good thing. That's what makes me want to buy your console. Again, hopefully that's a launch title. Or hopefully in Spider-Man Miles Morales, we can move as fast as a jet engine through a city, because that shows off. I just want games that show off what next gen is capable of. I don't think it's just about visuals. I don't think it's just about like, wow, Horizon looks pretty. You better buy a PS5 right now. Like that's not exciting to me. Like, yes, it looks pretty and that's fine, but I want to see games take advantage of that SSD. I want to see games take advantage of that hardware in ways that are unexpected. And I kind of got that vibe from this event. There were a couple of games where I was like, oh wow, like that's really, really cool. Especially Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is game of show. I gotta be honest with you. And that's crazy because I'm a way bigger fan of Resident Evil. A way bigger fan than Resident Evil than I am with Ratchet. I adore that franchise. But I gotta be real, Ratchet and Clank just blew everything else out of the water. It really did. Again, all in all, a satisfying event. It all sort of leaded up to the reveal of the design of the console. Look, it doesn't really matter what it looks like, to be real. I know that's kind of an excuse because it kind of looks jokey. It looks a little funny looking. It definitely looks like something you'd see in some Star Trek movie or something along those lines. But it's kind of cool, right? I mean, I think both of the consoles look dumb. I'm going to be real with you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you got all the way through this video, I applaud you. Thank you. You're awesome. Go down in the description below. Follow me on Twitch if you want to watch a stream or two. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Discord. If you want to, you don't have to. Dislike this video if you like the video. And until next time, I'll see you later.